Hey, Aldwyn Altuney here, and I am coming to you raw today. As you can see, I have no makeup on, my hair's not done. I feel like I've just jumped out of bed, but I haven't just jumped out of bed. I've actually been working away since about 7 o'clock this morning, working away on my computer. There's so much happening at the moment. I just did my webinar yesterday on how to gain free publicity during COVID-19 and had an amazing group of people on that. And now I've got two events I'm running tomorrow, the How to Gain $1 Million Worth of Free Publicity workshop, and also the Mass Media Tribe Meetup tomorrow night with Melissa Groom, talking about how to monetize your message. And I was just talking to one of my peers in business, and he said, Aldwyn, you always seem to come across like you have a media face on. You don't unleash yourself. Right. And I found this really interesting because, I feel that I do unleash myself, that I do express myself fully. And maybe I don't come across that way. I'd be really curious to see what you think. What do you think of how I come across on the Facebook Lives or in general, or if you've met me? Do you think that I hold back from fully expressing myself? And if I do, then I'd love to hear from you, because you can put a lemon in front of 8 people and 8 people will have a different opinion of that lemon, right? We have COVID going on right now, and people have so many different opinions about what is really going on with COVID. What is the truth about what is going on with COVID? And look, the fact is, will we really ever know what the truth really is about what is going on out there? We can look at research, we can investigate things, we can question things, and I always do encourage people to always question what they see in the mass media, particularly in the mainstream media. And having been a journalist over the years, there were times that we were asked to get angles on stories that weren't there. And so I know categorically that there are stories that are reported in the media that definitely do push certain agendas. Now, we've got some really controversial topics right now, like 5G and vaccinations. What do you think about those? I'd be very curious to hear from you. Mirna, great to see you. You look gorgeous with or without makeup. Thank you so much. I do feel so raw. It's kind of interesting. I'm doing a podcast soon with Cleo Merrick. She's interviewing me for her entrepreneur group in 40 minutes time, and I will be putting makeup on. I do feel more comfortable with makeup nowadays, which is interesting because growing up I really resisted makeup, and nowadays I do feel a bit better, a bit more confident in myself, I guess, if I have makeup on. So how do you feel? Are you comfortable doing Facebook Lives without makeup, or do you feel that you need makeup on? How do you feel about that? And how do you feel about doing Facebook Lives? My peer said, he challenged me to do this Facebook Live now with no makeup and just as I am. I had the green screen background. When I do a Zoom, there's a virtual background that comes up. So I have a home studio set up here, and I feel like my house is just one big studio at the moment, as with all the live events I've been doing. What interesting times we are in right now, this pandemic or plandemic or scamdemic, some people are saying. It's very interesting to see that alternative points of view are being taken down from YouTube and Facebook. David Icke, London Real, etc. have been talking about this. And David Icke I actually interviewed on Media Queen TV on YouTube in 2016, and he was recently taken off Facebook for his controversial views, and as well off YouTube. He had 1 million subscribers roughly on YouTube, and London Real did an interview with David Icke that went crazy. They had about 10 million viewers in a week or so, and a lot of those views were from shares, a lot of people sharing the information that was showing some alternative views to what we've been seeing in the mainstream media around COVID. So I found that very, very interesting. Why do we have censorship like that? Why don't we have full freedom of information out there right now? And if there is complete truth to what we're being told, then why not be open to some alternate points of view? Why not be open to that? So I am all for freedom of information, and for freedom of speech. And everyone is entitled to their opinion. Everyone absolutely entitled to their opinion. I do suggest that you do your research though, with anything that's happening, particularly or being bombarded through the mainstream media, through TV, radio, and print channels. Do your research. Don't just believe everything you hear. And now Myrna says, sometimes I'm okay with or without makeup. Okay, Myrna, that's great. Well, I think it's good to be raw and be comfortable in your skin, because this is us naturally, beautifully. We are born beautiful, and we evolve into who we become in life, who we are today. So it is important to be comfortable in your skin, with or without makeup, with or without your hair done. Mine can go a bit crazy at the best of times. It does go a bit wild, my hair. I'm very grateful for my naturally curly hair and my Greek, Turkish and Ukrainian bloodline that has led to these looks. I was actually born in Sydney, for those that don't know, in the Northern Beaches area of Sydney. And interestingly, growing up, I was very angry with the world, and I never felt that I really belonged in the world. I was angered by what I saw about the cruelty that was happening. My dad would religiously watch the news every single night. And I remember once when I was about 6 years of age, I remember after seeing the news one night, I remember just crying, and I just went and hugged my dad, and I just said, why is it so bad out there? Why are people so cruel? And he was like, well, that's just the way it is. That's just how the world is. Well, that might be how the world is in that how we're represented in the media, how the media represents the world to be, or at least the news channels, right? Mainstream news channels represent the world to be chaotic, full of crime and drama and all this crap, right? Whereas really, when you look at it, there is so much we can be grateful for. There are so many people doing such amazing things out there that if you just watch the news all day, you're just going to end up depressed. You're just going to end up depressed, angry with the world. And that's how I ended up. I ended up very depressed. I internalized my anger for years. My dad used to say anger is danger, and so I internalized it. Thankfully, I had table tennis that I could release some anger through sport, and I became a very good table tennis player and represented Australia actually for 6 years. So thankfully, I had that as a release for my anger. And then I found the media as a great way to get messages out about things that I was passionate about as well. So what is it that angers you? What is it that you get moved by in the world that you want to see change happen with? And what is it that you're grateful for today? Because I think if we're moved by something, if we're prompted in some way, if our body is moved by something, it's a sign that we should do something about it, that we should act on that, I believe. Because life is so damn short, really. I think we actually, in general, I think human beings, we're just way too serious about way too much. And I think we just need to loosen up, relax a bit, learn to enjoy life more and enjoy the simple things in life. The simple things in life, some of the best things in life are free, right? Being amongst nature. I live in a beautiful house in Southport, and I have views to Southport and Service Paradise, and I have beautiful trees around me. It's a bit like a tree house. I have a possum that comes and visits, and yes, my possum eats my fruit off my trees. I have a pawpaw tree. The possum comes and eats it, and I think, well, the possum's got to eat too, right? And the bird comes and eats. My cat goes and catches rats, and then the crows come and eat the rats, and everything gets recycled, right? So life is a beautiful thing, and there's so much we can be grateful for at any moment. And right now during COVID, there's two places we can come from. There's love, or there's fear. We can choose to lead, or we can choose to follow. What are you doing right now? Are you coming from love, or are you coming from fear? And one thing I'm really passionate about is helping to get more good news stories out in the mass media to help lift people's spirits and to help decrease depression and decrease suicide rates. I've actually had 4 friends personally who have killed themselves before the age of 45. And I think it's absolutely tragic. There's about 1 million people a year worldwide who take their own lives which again is really, really tragic and really sad. And I think if we had more good news stories out there, we could help shift people's perspective. And also the stories that we tell ourselves, the stories that we say to ourselves that we need makeup on to be doing a Facebook Live. Not for the guys here necessarily, unless you're into that, of course. But, you know, what sort of stories do you tell yourself? What do you say to yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror? Do you say, I love you, you are beautiful, you're amazing, you've been through so much? You know, you're there with yourself at the very beginning of your life, and you are there with yourself at the very end of your life. So how you do life with yourself and the conversations you have in your own head and what you choose to consume with the media and what you choose to put out into the media can make the world of difference for you. So here's to being conscious of the messages that we're putting out there. Now, I started a Global Good News Day on the 8th of the 8th, 18. You can find that on facebook.com/The Good News Day, and that's to inspire more good news in the mass media. You know, we had a happy newspaper in the UK that went viral. We've got the Good News Network now. We've got Huffington Post, MSN, news.com.au, all have good news sections. So there's lots and lots of positive news outlets out there. But if you watch the news every night on the mainstream TV channels, you're just going to end up seriously depressed, because about 90% of the news is generally negative, right? So you need to widen your perspective. And now, you know, of course, we've got a lot of podcasts, a lot of inspiring podcasts, a lot of online TV shows now that, you know, people are sharing messages through. And it's really great to see the world of the mass media now evolving so that we're not just being fed messages by a few TV stations. Very exciting times. Brendan, me too, with or without a shave. Okay, Brendan, that's good. So with or without a shave, do a Facebook Live. That's great. And John, hi Aldwyn, great advice. Didn't know you were born in Northern Beaches. Oh, you grew up in Chatswood. Wow, North Shore, both great areas. Yeah, that's right, John. I went to Mossman High School, actually, and Forest High School. And, you know, being a first-generation Australian in the Northern Beaches area at that time, I was actually in North Bagala. It was a very hard time for me growing up, actually, because, you know, my name was different. The food I took to school was different. You know, I'd take tabbouleh and things like that, and, you know, not white bread with hundreds of thousands on it, you know, as the English kids would. Yeah, it's a very interesting time growing up. John says, yes, suicide is awful, as is people's reliability on alcohol and drugs due to low self-esteem and bad parenting. Yes, absolutely. That's why I'm doing Kung Fu Ru as a life skills and character building personal development system for 2 to 12-year-olds and getting great feedback. That's brilliant, John. Fantastic. That is really great. Kung Fu, I think martial arts is fantastic. And, you know, finding that place of power within, you know, that centered power, like in the Karate Kid. You know, the wax on, wax off, that, you know, that power kick that happened at the end of the Karate Kid, you know, to find that inner power within you and bring that to all areas of your life. I think that is incredibly powerful. And I think when you know how to defend yourself, you're also a lot more confident out in the world as well. I think that is important sometimes, because there are a few crazy people out there, right? There's a lot of great people doing the right thing. However, there are a few that have gone off the rails, unfortunately, and I don't think pharmaceutical anything really helps, actually. I think you're better to go as natural as possible. Myrna, all the good stuff to school. Yes, all the good stuff to school for sure. Andrew, thank you so much. You're a legend too. Andrew, he said don't mention his name, actually, but I'm going to mention his name. He challenged me to do this. Andrew, this is your fault. No, I love you, Andrew. You're great. Andrew's the results guy. If you want fantastic results in your business, he is awesome. And really, authenticity is the new currency. We need to be authentic. We need to connect. People want connection now. They want connection. They're feeling so isolated. They're feeling so alone. And a lot of people are feeling very depressed. And so if that's you, then I suggest, if you feel depressed, is actually do things that you love to do on a daily basis, you know, whether it's cooking, whether it's, you know, going to the beach, which I love to do, yoga. There's lots of online exercise routines you can do now. I'm seeing things going crazy online with Pilates and yoga at home that you can do, maybe even a bit of Zumba, you know, shake your butt around a bit. That could be fun. So do what you enjoy doing. Get creative. Be creative. I did a great interview actually on Media Queen TV with Tracy Corman from Two's Company, and we talked about how to overcome abuse and depression. And it's a very powerful video. Whenever I hear of anyone who's depressed or suicidal, I say go watch that interview, because we both share our experience of how we've both had depression and how we've both moved through that. And you know, and it's simple things. It is simple things like coming back into gratitude. You know, things can always be worse. You know, earlier this year I went to Namibia and I got tonsillitis, and for 3 days I was in bed, and then ended up in the Gold Coast Hospital on the antibiotic drip. And then they put me on the penicillin, and suddenly my lips started to expand and I got cold sores around my mouth. And you can actually still see here, there's actually a spot right there. You can see that I still have some scarring from the side effects of the penicillin. Now, apparently 70% of people are allergic to penicillin. Why the hell are the hospitals injecting this crap into your body, right? Now, yes, it did help the tonsillitis a little bit, but there were other side effects. And then that took months for the swelling around my lips and for the tonsil, for this cold sores to recover. And I didn't want to show my face. I can tell you, I did not want to show my face in that time. And I went through another depression, actually, even in January, just a few months ago. And I was just sleeping all the time. And I was just so, I was angry. I was upset. I didn't want to show my face. And the fact is that things can always be worse. Things can always be worse. Even if you feel that your life is crap right now, or parts of your life are crap, parts of what's happening in the world is crap, and we can't control what's happening in the world, you can control what you do. You can control what you do. You can control how you respond. You can control whether you're coming from fear or you're coming from love in life, whether you're in gratitude, whether you're appreciating or you're depreciating in life. You can choose how you do life on a day-to-day basis. This morning I was talking to my beautiful parents, and my dad's 82, my mum's 76, and they've been together 50 years this year. And you know, growing up, I gave them such a hard time. You know, when I was angry with the world, I was also angry with my parents, and I blamed my parents for bringing me into this world. And I remember saying, I hate you, as a teenager to them. And I remember being kicked out of home at 15. And I remember not talking to my dad for months, 6 months. I moved into Sydney, in Manly, from North Bagala to Manly. I moved into this household where I moved in with this drummer whose mum was an alcoholic, his sister was dealing drugs. We partied all night, we were jamming, and we wouldn't sleep until sunrise. And what happened is I went from Ducks of my primary school at North Bagala Primary School, and I failed everything in year 11. And then I remember one night my boyfriend was sleeping with my best friend in front of me at age 16. And the Pretenders' Don't Get Me Wrong, remember that song? Pretenders' Don't Get Me Wrong was playing on the record player on vinyl. And I remember just being so upset and crying. And I called my mum in tears and I said, I can't handle this anymore. And she said, come home. I went home. My dad and I didn't talk for a long time, but what happened is I changed my environment. I changed schools from Mossman High School to Forest High School, and I worked my butt off in year 12 and got into a media degree at the University of Canberra and turned my life around. But you know, during those teenage years, it was a really hard time for me, and I gave my parents hell. But you know, now we are just so close. And talking to my mum this morning, and we're talking about what happens when we die. What happens when we die? And I said, your mum was saying, oh, you know, they're going to dig a hole and they're going to bury us in the ground when we die. And I said, Mum, your soul will live on, and you'll see people who've passed. You'll see people who've passed. She said, yeah, I'll see my sister and my brother. We'll see each other again. And I said, but Mum, you know, you've got to make the most of life. It's such a precious life that we have. You've got to make the most of life every moment. It's such a gift that we have to be here for the short time that we're all on the planet. So here's to making the most of life. I'm getting a bit emotional. A bit emotional today. Shooting the breeze. And this is me raw. This is me raw. And I, you know, when I do Facebook Lives, when I speak, I never quite know what I'm going to say. However, I trust that the right words come out, and And hopefully if you're watching this today, hopefully you're getting something out of this. And I would love to hear from you in the chat. What are you grateful for today? What are you grateful for? Remembering things can always be worse. What are you grateful for? Who are you grateful for in your life? Who are you grateful for? Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. Thank you so much. And, I am so grateful for my parents now, so grateful. And, mind you, I've done a lot of work on myself. And remember, too, that hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. If someone's being nasty to you, they're most likely hurting. Okay, so for whoever it is out there that thinks I put on a media face, this is me. This is me, media face, no media face. This is me, no makeup. What do you think? Do I come across like I put on a media face? I feel that I'm being authentic. I feel I'm speaking from the heart. And, people will always have their opinions, right, of what you do. And if you build your profile in any way, whether it's Facebook Living or YouTube or whatever, if you put yourself out there, there's always going to be people that love you and people that hate you, okay? Always. Always people that love you and people that hate you. So how are you going to be about it? Look at Donald Trump. There's people that love him and people that hate him. Look at every single celebrity you can think of. There's people that love them, people that hate them. What about Charlie Sheen? Now, I interviewed Charlie Sheen 2 years ago in LA, and he's a humble, chilled kind of guy. Okay, he's probably taken a few drugs in his time. He's got HIV and he's on the road to recovery or doing what he's doing. He's had his own journey, and I love 2.5 Men. I absolutely love Charlie Sheen in 2.5 Men, and I'm so grateful, regardless of his private life. I'm so grateful for Charlie Sheen and 2.5 Men because I have had so many laughs from that show. And he's a guy, he's a person, human being, just like everyone else. He wakes up, goes to sleep, goes to the bathroom, has a shower. I would imagine has a few showers in their life. We all look for connection. We all look for connection, and we all want to be liked and loved and all that stuff. But at the same time, I think the most important thing with all that is to like and love yourself, regardless of what other people think. And also to be fully self-expressed. And thank you, Andrew, for encouraging me to be more fully self-expressed. I'm going to see how I can do that. I don't know what that even looks like, but I'm just going to speak from the heart as I always do. And thank you, Andrew. Grateful for Jess, Elizabeth, Penelope. Grateful for Debra. Grateful for Life Beautiful, Andrew. Thank you so much. I love you too. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Myrna, you're allergic to penicillin and had the worst reaction. Wow, well, so did I. Amazing. Literally my lips blew up. Like as they were putting the injection in, my lips were swelling at the same time. They went, oh, you're allergic to penicillin. Why the hell do you give me this crap? It makes you think, well, with vaccinations, there's mercury, formaldehyde. There's all this crap in vaccines, and they want to make this compulsory for people. What the hell? That's my thoughts on vaccines. I do not agree with vaccines, and I know there's a lot of people that do, and each to their own. And if you feel that it's really going to protect you, you go inject yourself with vaccines, and that if you think that's going to protect you from from getting any kind of virus, then it shouldn't matter if other people get the vaccine or not, should it? Really? No, I don't think so. What I'm against is people saying that you must inject this crap, anything. You must inject something into your body that is a foreign substance. I believe that we were made perfect. I believe that nature, the whole foods, filtered water, sunshine, we have everything that we can possibly need for perfect health and immunity. And we go taking tablets and injecting ourselves with crap and looking for the magic pill or the drugs that are going to, make us have an enhanced experience of life. Yes, makes me angry. I do not agree with vaccines. And Vaxxed, why was Vaxxed banned? The documentary Vaxxed, Vaxxed. There's people that were pro-vaccinations, they watched Vaxxed, and now they're not for vaccinations. Now, apparently there's homeopathic vaccinations that apparently are okay. Well, do your own research, do your own research with it. GoPal, you look awesome. Oh, thank you, GoPal. I feel so raw here. I feel like I'm literally in my, just hopped out of bed, and I am going to be doing a podcast soon, so I'm going to just do myself up a little bit for that, for the podcast with Cleo very shortly in about 20 minutes. Yes, Myrna, I agree that one is pushed into taking poison. Yes, well, if it's mandatory and if it's got poisons in it like mercury, like vaccines do, the thing is that you want to question what is in the vaccine. What are the ingredients? We should be asking our doctors. what ingredients are in these vaccines? I want a full list of ingredients, and I'm going to investigate myself before I go injecting or having you inject anything into my body, let alone perfectly healthy babies. Anyway, don't get me started. What are you passionate about? What's controversial for you that you believe in? 5G. Gee, there's a lot of 5G videos being taken down off YouTube and Facebook at the moment. My goodness, 5G is very controversial. Lisa, I've been looking into vaccines further recently, not me or the ones I love. Yeah, good on you, Lisa. That's great. Well, at least you're making an informed decision. You've been looking into it. Good on you. And Lisa says also aluminium. Yeah, it's got aluminium in it, Lisa. Oh my goodness. John says exactly, a pill for this, an injection for a cure for this. However, unless we Google it, there's never any advice on how to build a strong immune system. Well, I did some PR recently with a guy called Dr. Mir Janjua, and we put out a press release saying how you can build your immune system. And it's very simple, actually, vitamin D, eating healthy whole foods, getting sunshine. We need sunshine. Doing what you love, being passionate. Tyler Tolman talks about this as well. Do what you love and you will naturally build your immune system as well. There's lots of advice, actually, John, on that. I would just suggest search that, how to build a strong immune system, particularly at this time. You want to be coming from a loving space and not from a fear-based space, because that will make you sick. Being in fear will make you sick. So there we go. So shooting the breeze. What are you grateful for today? What are you grateful for? And how are you going to fully express yourself? I challenge you, like Andrew's challenged me. I challenge you to do a Facebook Live Raw. Do a Facebook Live Raw as you are. Share from the heart. Share whatever comes to your mind. And be loving and kind to yourself, and love yourself and love those around you. Our parents, I hear of people that don't talk to their parents, and I think that's quite sad, because our parents, I would say a parent's love for a child will be like no other love. And people like this, not just with their parents or their family members, but with friends as well, that someone might say something. Someone might say something you don't like, and suddenly you just dismiss that person like they're, you just never want to talk to them again. Everything can be resolved with communication. And just give people love. I mean, sure, there's sociopaths, there's psychopaths, there's narcissists out there. I'm not saying, befriend everybody, but you don't have to hate them. Come from a loving space, because if you hold that hate and resentment inside, it's just going to eat you up. It's going to eat you up. Like they say, resentment is like wanting someone else dead and you take the poison. So stop poisoning yourself, okay? If that's you, if you have people in your life you don't talk to and that you cannot stand, just send them love, right? Send them love from a distance. They probably need it. If they're being nasty, they're probably in pain of some sort. They're probably not enjoying their life if they're putting you down, right? If they're knocking you, if they think that you're not fully self-expressed, okay, they're probably not enjoying their life, or maybe it's a reflection on how they do life. Who knows? But we all have our own perspectives, right? And who's to say one's right and one's wrong? Who's to say? It's just perspective. Everyone has perspective. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Come talk to me. Lisa says, I assist people to work on their immune system. Well, there you go, Lisa. There you go. Beautiful connection happening right here on Facebook Live between John and Lisa. That's great, Lisa. Lisa was on my webinar yesterday, and that webinar is actually up on Media Queen TV now, the How to Gain Free Publicity During COVID-19. The whole 2-hour webinar is up on Media Queen TV, so you can go and watch that, Lisa, and look at the replay. And John is in LA, and John and I feature in a book together called Think Big with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So great to see you here, John. Taryn, love your raw, unmakeup fresh. Looks seriously beautiful. Oh, thank you, Taryn. Thank you. I appreciate that. John, that's right. Great advice, Aldwyn. Read the immune system. And yes, too much fear-based news. Absolutely. Lynn says, want to know the sort of love I'd send? Not particularly, Lynn. No, of course I'd love to see Lynn. Lynn's one of my dear friends on the Gold Coast, and we've gone through all sorts of interesting experiences together and had a lot of fun together over the years. We do have some differing opinions on certain things, such as vaccines, such as probably 5G. I don't know. We do have some differing opinions, and we're still great friends regardless. So that just goes to show, everyone's entitled to their opinion. What are you saying about me, Aldwyn? Andrew, I'm saying you are awesome. You're the results guy. You've inspired me to do this live. Thank you very much, Andrew. If anyone wants to take their business or sales to another level, Andrew is your guy. He is amazing and a fantastic guy to boot. And he is absolutely 200% fully self-expressed. I would say Andrew is over the top with everything he does, and that's how he is in life. That's how Andrew is all the time. So what you see on lives, you're seeing the real Andrew, and I love you for that, Andrew. I think you're absolutely awesome. And there's a bit of Greek blood in there too, right? So there's a bit of excited European blood going on too, which is fantastic. Brendan says, does that include the whooping cough vaccine also? Actually, that's a good question, Brendan. I'm not sure about that. Someone else might have an answer to that one. But look, I suggest if you're going to inject anything into your body, whether it's a vaccine or anything else, you want to know what's inside this. You want to know what's inside, right? You want to know what the ingredients of that thing is. Now, I'm definitely not going to be doing penicillin again because I've still got a scar from months on. And 25 years ago, I had a tetanus shot. I can still feel in the top of my gluteus maximus, in my bum cheek, I can still feel in there where that tetanus shot went into my backside. Yes, I can feel it. And I had shooting pains down my leg. I had like sciatica for years, and I still get sciatica. And so that was a tetanus shot before I went to China 25 years ago. And even now I can still feel the lump in my backside. So that cannot be a good thing, I don't think. I don't think that's very healthy, and I try to avoid medications at all cost. Of course, there's a place for emergency medicine. Obviously, if you go, break a leg, or there's a place for emergency medicine. There's a place for doctors, and now we're starting to see a lot of alternative health, a lot of alternative medicines. The shamans had it worked out years ago. The natural medicine people, a lot of pharmaceuticals. They actually use botanicals and herbs and things from nature, is how they make up some of these pharmaceutical pills, etc. And then there's other toxins that are sometimes added. So just do your own research, okay, before you go injecting yourself or popping pills. Or Lucianne, love you too, Lucianne. Thank you so much. Lucianne, Kim pays 40 questions to ask when researching whether to vax or not. Okay, good one. Thank you for sharing that. That's great. These comments are brilliant. Lisa, they've just done a big summit on vaccines. Okay, well, feel free to pop your comments, pro-vax, anti-vax, whatever vax, just pop your comments in there. Let's share some information so we can get informed on this before you look at injecting yourself with anything, or the government looks at injecting you with anything, right? We want to be able to make informed decisions and have a choice what we put into our own bodies. Yes, have a choice. That's what I'm all about. Choice, freedom of speech, freedom of information. I could keep on chatting. I've got about 10 minutes till my podcast with Cleo Merrick, and I am actually going to put some makeup on, and I'm going to just doll myself up just a little bit, and of course still come from the heart and still share the love. And lots of love to you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Andrew Komenos, for the inspiration, the results guy. Thank you for the inspiration to do this raw Facebook Live with my green screen background. It comes in Zoom. You can do a virtual background, which is why on the Media Queen TV webinar, the How to Gain Free Publicity During COVID-19 webinar that's on Media Queen TV, I have a virtual background. So I have the Media Queen logo and the Mass Media Mastery logo in the corner. If you want to see that, just check that out on YouTube, Media Queen TV. And I was on another webinar yesterday, actually, about self-managed super funds. And there was a guy on there who had all these amazing virtual backgrounds, just like Nick Cree does. Nick Cree's awesome with this as well. And you can have a lot of fun with your virtual backgrounds in Zoom if you're doing Zoom events. So I might look at doing some of that in the near future. And now I am going to wrap up. Lucianne says, yes, choice, freedom, and research about what it's all about. Exactly. Freedom, research. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for joining me. The webinar tomorrow. Yes, I've got 2 events tomorrow. The How to Gain $1 Million worth of free publicity workshop. It's $47 plus booking fee for 1 ticket, or $84 plus booking fee for 2 tickets, for 2 spots on the Zoom 4-hour workshop. We're going to be taking you from having no idea about how to get publicity on how to maximize your publicity. It'll be quite an interactive workshop. And then tomorrow night, we've got the Mass Media Tribe Meetup with Melissa Groom coming to be a guest speaker. She's known as the Visibility Mentor, and she is speaking about how to monetize your message. So that's tomorrow night. If you want details, go to Mass Media Tribe. Come and join our tribe of mass media experts and to be experts, our people that want to be seen and heard, and they're stepping up in the media, Mass Media Tribe, and we are a stand for truth and good news. Okay, the Mass Media Tribe, come and join us. Facebook, Meetup, and also on Eventbrite. If you follow Aldwyn Altuney there, you will see all the upcoming events. Lucianne says the workshop is amazing, can't be missed. Thank you, Lucianne. You're welcome to come back again. Actually, if you've attended one of my workshops in the past and you're watching this, you're welcome to come back for free. Okay, so come back and join us tomorrow. It's the first one I'm doing on Zoom. Actually, I've done them in Sydney, Melbourne, Gold Coast, Brisbane over the years. And there's a first Zoom one I'm doing, and hopefully last time we had a go at this, the technology didn't work. Hopefully the technology will be good for tomorrow, so we'll see how we go. All right, love Melissa. Yes, she is amazing. And thank you so much, Lucy. And thanks for joining me. I feel very connected with you, and I really appreciate you being here. I'm grateful for you. I love you. Go out and be your authentic self, be fully self-expressed, and say whatever it is you want to say, regardless of what other people think. Because there's always going to be people that love you and people that hate you, and it doesn't matter as long as you love yourself and you stand in your own truth and you speak from the heart, right? That's what I'm about. Speak from the heart, and remember to shine your light bright and light up all those around you. I believe in the power of one, and I believe in you. I believe in you. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You are 1 in a billion just by being born. Okay, 1 in a billion. You've beat about 400 million to 1.2 billion swimmers to get to the finish line just by being born. Okay, you are extraordinary. You're exceptional. Now go out and make the difference that only you are here to make. Make the difference and take action on what you want to see change in the world. You want to see change, make it happen. Share things, share information that you see that moves you. Share it on your social media. The ripple effect of that can be huge. And if you know about the 100 monkey story, there's 100 monkeys that shifted the way they would do things with the sweet potato that they put in the water to soften it to eat. And then monkeys from other parts of the world started to do the same thing with the sweet potato, put it in the water, and none of these monkeys were anywhere near each other. So I believe if we can have a 15% shift in consciousness, we can change the world. 15% shift, that's all it takes. And you can do your bit by sharing, commenting, liking, loving. Share the love. Any good information you see, such as Out of Shadows documentary, definitely watch that one. Out of Shadows Official, that had about 10 million views in a week as well. Out of Shadows Official, very good. You can see it on YouTube, or just Google it, Out of Shadows, and that's all about how we form the opinions that we form, how we're influenced by the mainstream media, by Hollywood, etc. Very, very powerful movie, Out of Shadows. Highly recommend it. Okay, and come and join me at Mass Media Tribe. I have to go now. I've got to go and get some makeup on to get ready for my podcast. Lots of love to you, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.